Greetings and welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to analyze my gameplay from a recent chicken dinner and give you guys some insight into what tactics I'm using as well as my general thought process throughout the game. So if you saw my last video, you'll recognize that I'm dropping into the same location, so I'll give you guys this tip again. If you're playing Miramar solos, drop into an area that has one or two god buildings. There's dozens of them all over the map and they're a great choice to snag good loot and be relatively uncontested. My next tip is something you'll notice I do often. After your initial loot is grabbed, find a vehicle and make your way as close to the center of the circle as possible. There are a few reasons to do this. Number one, you limit the risk of fighting an extra enemy, the blue zone. Number two, you establish a more defensive setup which puts you in a power position similar to having the high ground. And number three, you gather a lot more intel than if you're constantly running and reacting. I realize that some people aren't going to like this style, and that's totally fine. But you're wrong, and I hate you. Just kidding. These methods aren't for everyone, but again, I'm sharing tips from my personal wins in hopes of helping you guys become... Okay, so now I'm going to speed this up until my next encounter, and you can see that this method is already paying dividends. By getting a good position in the circle, not only am I able to keep a closer eye on my surroundings, but I've also just made it into the top 40 with almost no effort. A bonus to this is having a better chance at being close to a crate drop. This one lands pretty close to me, but I know there are a couple of guys in this vicinity, so instead of going straight for it, I decide to reposition and keep a watch on it. This ends up working out well because this guy who pulls up doesn't do a great job at moving around after taking shots from my SLR. My next goal is to carefully approach the crate to score some level 3 gear. These situations are the epitome of high risk, high reward. I run into a single guy along the way and I have to divert a little bit to take him out, but I decided it's better to be aggressive here in case he's not the only enemy I need to fight. It's better to kill him as quickly as possible. Once I take care of him, I don't even bother to loot his body. My thought here is that I just made a lot of noise, so it's likely that someone knows my general position, and I don't want to get caught in another fight. So instead I run into this little shack to get a quick reset on health, boosts, and ammo, and then I'll be off to grab the crate gear. I decided to only take the armor and leave the Groza. Swapping that out for my M4 could take time, and I was worried that someone was watching, so I opted for a speedy exit. After that, I took cover behind this tree, and in retrospect, this was probably a bad idea. The cover here is pretty poor, and it's an awkward area to hold, but it still worked out, and I added another kill before moving on. Once again, my position has been compromised, so I start moving in and notice this guy hiding at the gas station. I know he saw me, so I'm hoping that I tricked him into thinking that I didn't see him and that he'll push the spot where it looked like I was headed to. That doesn't end up happening, so instead I steal his motorcycle and just move into the circle. Next, I make a beeline for this building at the edge of the circle and hop through the window. I know it's going to make a little bit of noise, but my plan is to guard the edge of the circle, and if there's anyone inside the house, their footsteps and the sound of them opening the door should alert me with enough time to turn around and fight. The guy I was waiting on died to the play zone, so I cleared the house and luckily got the next circle. There's been a gunfight going on outside this door, so I decided to take a small risk and open it up so that I'm not just blindly waiting to get pushed out of the building. Thanks to this, I'm able to spot the survivor up on the hill, and then I take him out before he's able to heal up and become a threat again. There are only two other guys besides myself at this point, and I tried to stay in the building as long as possible, hoping that they would engage each other. I usually like to push for a good position in the circle a little more aggressively, but in this case, since I was already pretty close, I waited a lot longer to see if I could catch some luck. It didn't work out the way I thought, but they ended up fighting each other, which allowed me to pick this guy off. I've also noted the direction he was facing so that I have a general idea of where my last enemy is. This is where my tips end for this video, because this type of luck, I mean, elite skill just isn't something that can be taught. That's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed the content and learned something new, and if you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for future updates.